Good morning, everybody. It's Cowboy, Friday, 8:30 a.m. EST, and it's been a pretty, we'll just say difficult to trade week, and not for any other reason except that it's the end of the summer, and it's also where FOMC and the BOJ data is coming out, and a lot of markets were just kind of waiting for the Bank of Japan and the FOMC to do its thing. Bitcoin did spend a lot of time going up this week, which is awesome. I mean, the algorithms certainly wanted or I should say, we're aiming at or indicating the price would go up on Bitcoin. And so that wasn't really a surprise, but I don't really trade during weeks like this. When you got FOMC, primarily that's like one of the biggest reasons I don't, I don't trade until their data comes out. It's really, really hard to predict what's going to happen to the charts. And if I get myself in like a day trade or even a swing trade, if that FOMC data comes out in the middle of that trade, it can just knock me out of a trade. And so I spend weeks like this basically studying or, that kind of thing, right? Back testing, studying, prepping. I have a lot of different things I can do because I've got Algo Factory as a whole. I don't just have a trading business, so I can always work on that. In fact, there were multiple family events this week, good family events. So I actually kind of took a lot of this week off, but all that to say that the Bank of Japan data did come out last night, and right where this arrow is right as it came out, and it was rather bullish for at least Bitcoin. Let's see here. Let's roll over to the indices and see how they did based on that, the futures. Now, of course, it's futures market, so it's probably not going to have the kind of movement, that you would see in the daytime, right? Because this data came out like last night pretty late. Let's see here. We're on the 5-minute chart. Certainly, yeah. I mean, price basically went up after that announcement came out. So we're looking at the ES1, which is the E-mini. Oh, wait a minute. We're looking at the euro. Sorry. Well, the euro went up anyway. The E-mini just stayed steady. Wasn't terribly bullish or bearish for it. But that's good. I mean, basically, what I think happened was that the Bank of Japan decided to hold their rate steady. And the reason that matters right now is if you took a look back in early August, we had the Bank of Japan defending their currency. And when that happened, it was kind of an unexpected thing. They decided to unwind the carry trade to the tune, I think, of trillions of dollars. And market just really, really went haywire at that point. So, they did decide like the next day to put the carry trade back on, but they're still going to be hiking rates in the future. And the decision yesterday came out to be that, no, we're not going to hike rates this time, but yes, we're going to hike rates in the future. So all of that to say, at least they held for now, market being steady. The cheap Japanese yen being created is going to have a lot to do with the liquidity solution for stock markets around the world. And that is like a very complex issue, relatively complex, really not that complex. But, if they continue to defend their currency, then the ability to basically have a big liquidity solution for the rest of the world is going to be hampered a little bit. And you're going to see some things happen in markets that might surprise us. But again, the other side of that is that the 50 basis point cut on the US side is going to probably make up for that in some way, shape, or form. You know what I mean? We might be able to see how, okay, well, if that's the case, then, money is cheaper on the US side, and you might be able to take care of things that way just to counterbalance that. So all that is, I think most of the time that stuff matters is right around the time of the announcement. And then in between announcements, the charts are going to tell you what you need to know. And then like a day or two before those announcements, you just have to be careful. And then once those announcements are out, then you can kind of trade a little more freely. So I'm looking at the E-mini here. This is a low time frame. This is the 5-minute chart. So I'm going to go ahead and back out a little bit. And looks like I made a prediction in the private Algo Factory private yesterday or the day before with, this actually, I thought it was going to go up a little more slowly, but it's actually gone up probably because of the 50 basis point cut. So this prediction was made prior to the 50 basis point cut based on an assumption of a 25 basis point cut, right? So obviously they cut more than expected, pushing price up, literally gapping up here. Although I don't know if the gap up, let's see, what date was this? Monday the 16th. There was just a massive gap up at the beginning of the week. So perhaps some of the news came out and price broke all-time highs on on this. And I had this up above 6,000 by the end of the year. And I know a lot of predictions don't have that until later into next year, but we're sitting at 57 right now, 5,800. So it looks like several months ago, my 6,000, ES1 prediction, aka SP500 prediction, is really coming into play. Got to be careful on these gaps, though. Price does tend to want to come down and fill these. So we might, it's hard to say, but like you see this where prior gap, price made an all-time high, really peaked up there and then came down and filled it. Of course, it filled it on the JPY news, but that JPY news really wasn't until a little after that fill. So price did come back down to fill this gap. So there's a really good chance that at some point, the SP500, the price will come down to fill this gap. Back to Bitcoin. So yeah, bullish on the Bitcoin. It looks like the Bitcoin. It does look like a lot of the market was, as I was waiting to make a decision to enter the market, a lot of money was kind of sidelined until the BOJ decision, because again, that madness back in August really kind of pushed things around. So that to say, if I were to back up a little bit and take a look at the bigger picture on Bitcoin, I could say things are looking rather bullish overall. And this is, this is definitely short-term bullish, right? And we talked about this yesterday, so this shouldn't be news, but it's just a continuation of yesterday's conversation, right? You have this very clear, it's kind of it is a downtrend. It's sort of a bull flag type downtrend. This particular low was caused by the Japanese yen event, so it's a little lower than I would normally expect it to go. You would think it would kind of stay in line with these lows on this kind of scenario. It got dragged down a bit more because of the Japanese yen. But you're still getting, lower lows, lower highs until here. And right here, right at this level, you're getting this this lower high, right? I mean, this higher low. Thanks, Lisa. I appreciate the comment there. So you're getting this higher low. Now you're getting what might end up being a higher high. And if this price breaks this high right here, let me zoom in a little bit. If this move up that we're seeing right now breaks this high, which this high is about 65,000. And if we get a break above there, a break and close, then what we're looking at is a possible, it's a violation of the downtrend, to be sure. Now, what I want to see, though, to really, kind of seal in this, I mean, that would be an uptrend. You would be in an uptrend because now you'd have a higher low, now you would have a higher high, and the uptrend began. But to seal it in, I want to see price come down a little bit and at least create a higher low and break. And then once you're like into that realm right there, then that's, you're pretty much in trend wise, you're in bullish territory. You're pretty much already there. And the way I'm looking at things as far as like, okay, where am I bullish? Where am I bearish? Where am I? I'd say above 65 and below 70,500, I start to get like flat where I'm not bearish anymore, right? If price were to reject right at 65 and start to continue down and then break down below, especially 52, then I'm going to be a bit bearish and expect a sweep down to grab the lows, right? But if price can break above 70,500, I'm going to start to get bullish. And then as price breaks the all-time high, then I'm like, okay, we're out of this, this whole, I mean, technically, if this were a bull flag, I would only really have to break that line right there, right? So technically that's sitting at about, let's move this out of the way. That's sitting roughly at about 68,000. If I were going on those metrics, not really big on those metrics though, not my favorite thing to do. But I would say definitely like above 70,500, I'm going to start to get bullish. And of course, above the 74,000 area, I'm going to say we're probably going to head up. And just like I said yesterday, my next highs are going to be somewhere in the 95,000 area is kind of what I'm looking at for your next like Bitcoin highs. And then as price approaches 100,000, even 95,000, I'm definitely going to be looking for some top signals. And we do have a particular type of top signal that we talk about in Algo Factory that has been incredibly reliable for Bitcoin over the years. It's maybe made like a missed top signal call once that I can think of, and that I have ready to go. So, Siege, thanks for coming on, man. So, and Siege, tell Glenn I said what's up. I hope he's well. I haven't talked to Glenn in a while. I've sent him a couple messages and stuff, but haven't heard from him since the accident. So tell Glenn that I hope all is well. All right, everybody. Thank you for watching. We're going to flip over to the Private Live Labs app, the QR code in the top right-hand side of the screen, or go to algofactory.tech. If you do, you're going to see what we do. We create traders. We teach people how to trade, and then we help them develop their own trading method, otherwise known as an algorithm. Doesn't mean you have to code or anything like that. Most people are trading manually. At the same time, if you do wish to go ahead and code, we're continuing to help people get on that path as well. As a matter of fact, I was talking to my coder just like this morning. We have a new solution for TradingView to bridge over. I was having some trouble with TradingView using a particular solution. I don't want to name it. I don't want to talk bad, but their solution we were using for bridging over just wasn't that great. And now we apparently have a much better solution with far less latency. So creating our TradingView algos and porting them over to something like MetaTrader 4 does seem a bit more realistic now. So either way, come on over, algofactory.tech, trade your job, upgrade your life. Do not forget,
join us